the unofficial podcast for DC Legends. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a 5-star review. Here are your hosts. Take it away, Hate Mail.
Welcome to WROL Broadcast. I am Hate Mail. With me today we have Loot.
Hey guys.
M4.
Hello.
And Kage.
Hello.
And we are doing our tier list. We're doing it very early this month due to vacations of myself, and the tier list guy's going to be gone for the artist for quite some time, so we have to get him the art early. So it is the 18th of July when we're recording this. So by the time you get it, things have changed, that's why. But anyway, so let's get right into it. We'll start with the toon of the month. And M4, if you want to lead the toon of the month.
It's rough, but I'm gonna go with Zod. That 30% true damage on his basic is just killer. He doesn't care if you're RB5, you're gonna lose that big chunk of HP. So I'm going to go with the fast green nuke this month.
I'm going to go with the person that should have been toon of the month the past two sieges, and that is Blackflash. Because he's needed on every team, and I argued with some people in Discord chat, which, you know, people are saying that who's the best toon in the game. On defense, he's not that scary, but you still have to account for him. And on offense, he just makes everything so easy. It's kind of getting annoying at this point. Kage, what do you think is the toon of the month for you?
I mean, I was tempted to put that as an answer, you know. It's always, every siege lineup, it's just Blackflash +3 or Russian Manhunter Blackflash +2. It's kind of like, okay, well, I guess we're going to get bored of the same 6 matches per day at this point. But I'm going to have to say, it's a toss-up between Zod and Ultraman, because that AoE debuff, or that AoE buff immunity is killer. Like, I just love it. I don't know. If I had to flip a coin, I'd probably say Zod.
All right, and Loot, who would be yours?
I am also going to go on the Blackflash train for toon of the month, because if you don't have him, you've got no shot. Literally no shot. I think we're at that point now where if they don't make a change to Blackflash or give us a counter that's good to use, like in a consistent every match kind of way, and I'm sure that would then just make the next toon the toon of the month going forward. It's just going to be boring. Exactly what Kage said. And if I'm looking at not Blackflash, Zod versus Ultraman, I'm going to give it to both of them. I'm not going to pick one because I think they're both fantastic. And I use them both every single time. So I'm going to treat them as the toons of the month.
Well, I think since there is a tie and Kage leaned towards, he almost picked Blackflash, and I think being that Blackflash is literally on every single team, you could get away with not using Zod. It makes it a little harder, but I've ran several matches without him to put in Steel in his place. So I think we'll give it to Blackflash unless anybody strongly objects.
Yeah, and I'll just throw it out there. I don't want to use the word nerf because I think that's kind of a silly way to do things, but I do think they should tune him.
Oh no.
Make a couple changes.
Oh, wait, never mind.
So that we can use other tunes because it's boring.
I wonder if a good change to him would be like, instead of like resetting the AoE cooldown, just like make it -1 or -2, so you'd have to wait a turn before someone dies, or wait a turn when someone dies before you can use that AoE again. You know,
I
He
don't
just needs to be slower.
I don't think he needs necessarily a nerf. He's one of those characters I think you could easily get away with coming up with a counter. If they had done on, what's his name, last month's tune, instead of doing this Jericho, if they'd done AoE silence at the start, that would have fixed him. There's a couple things they could do to just make it so that you don't want to go first. You don't want to reset the turn meter. So I'm confident they'll come up with something eventually. I think there was a half-hearted attempt with the Batman Who Laughs. That was a neat idea on paper, but it didn't work out the way it needed to. Needed something a little stricter, or maybe something with Doom.
They should have made him the slowest speedster. Even in lore, right? He catches up. He's not faster than Flash. Or if they made him 130, you could use literally any other speedster to go first.
blame Doombox.
All right. Well, let's move on to the tunes. Let me pull up my list here. So first we have Arsenal, and it looks like we're all pretty much in lockstep. So, Loot, we'll go ahead and start with you.
Well, for starters, I don't really use him. I used him in the very beginning, like against the bots, like that first day. And then every time that I wanted to slot him in on all of my playtesting, he was very ineffective. He didn't do anything. He's slow. His AoE is strength-based. Every tune out there for this month is special damage that I want to counter. I just think overall his kit is bad. There's not enough there to make me want to use him, and that's why I'm throwing him in the C tier.
And he was
He
C
needs
tier
a
before.
rework.
Yeah, he desperately needs a rework. I don't really have much to add what Loot said. M4, anything different?
His main use is to apply the strength downs, but this siege is a heavy green special damage siege, so he's fairly useless. I've seen him once or twice used against me, but only because he's the bonus red that kind of deals with Wonder Girl. But other than that, he really doesn't work. Oh, he also has the hit chance downs, which doesn't work against Zod and Eradicator, so yeah. He's fairly useless this month, and even outside of Siege, there's very little reason for anyone to use him.
Kage, any?
Outside of Siege, I would probably run him with Dove. Dove is pretty good with him, and they're really annoying together. But in this Siege, I just wouldn't bother with him.
Alright, he stays AC. Eradicator will... Sheriff Lobo voted to B. M4, you're the only other person that voted, so we'll go to you. You there, M4? If you're talking, we're not hearing you.
Because I'm on mute.
Okay.
Alright, so I only have him L3 disclaimer, so I don't have his full kit. He does have a lot of good purge moves. His opener, the one I usually use, is like a very good version of Larfleeze's purge all buffs and targeted, so you can't hide behind the taunter. You could just, I use it to purge all of Ultraman's buffs. That's how I use him in Siege. And then after that, he has his semi-nuke move, which removes the positive immunities, kind of like a Black Hand. So by those two moves alone, he's pretty good at control utility. Now, the damage is decent. I didn't take under the awareness because there are no awareness bonus tunes. But if you have him with, let's say, a dark side, he's gonna punch 4 times. That basic hurts. So my early verdict is an A, just because of he's kind of like a good Swiss Army knife that can do a lot of things.
Yeah, I'll be the tiebreaker since Sheriff voted B. Just based on all the video I've seen, Berger also says he thinks he's an A. I have one other person that had been messaging me who took him Red Devil 07 or Red 07 Devil. He took him RB4 and he definitely thinks he's an A as well. And then I'm pretty sure that Rundown told me he'd vote him an A and he's got him L4. So that's enough people that I respect opinions on to think he's probably an A-Toon. He definitely has the kit to be an A-Toon, so I don't have him geared yet myself. Kind of taking it a little easy this month.
And his skin is S tier, his basic skin.
Oh yeah, he definitely has an awesome skin. So, alright, moving on to General Zod. Kage, if you want to start with him.
Real quick, someone's breathing into the mic pretty hard, so
Actually, I think that might be me.
I don't know which one of you it is.
Let me move my mic down.
Yeah. That's better. So, Zod, I really like what they did with his rework. They moved the crits from his leader to a passive. So now every turn, as long as he gets a turn, right, your teammates are going to be getting crit ups. So I do like the visual buff right there, as opposed to having a built-in like additional 17 or 20% crit chance as a leader. No one's going to be using him over Deadshot, so I do like what they do with that. I don't like how they tied the call assist to his leader. There are better leader options, so you know, I wish they would have made that leader a passive, and that way every time he crits, you know, he's calling a call assist on any team, but it is what it is. Other than that, he's just a lot more consistent. He's faster now. He's just a better toon overall, and I'll just give him an A.
Loot.
I think there's really only one thing. I'm not going to repeat what everybody else just said because I agree with everyone. I think there's only one, and I'm just going to tell you my vote is an A. But I do believe that if they would have made one change, they could have he could be S tier. And the one change is his leader. I think it's really a bad leader skill. They could have either not made him a leader at all and done a passive, another one, or they could have made a leader skill that was good, something that was useful and effective. That death immunity, maybe it's good, like once in a blue moon, but the majority of times I don't even notice that it's there. So I would have loved to have seen them do that, where the leader skill was just different. But other than that, he does everything right. He does crit chance ups. The true damage on his basic is sweet. He's fast. He's special damage, which I love. I'm a special damage guy. Can't miss. It's pretty sweet. And downs, also great. So total solid toon. Minor changes, I think, would put him over the edge right to us.
And for any other thoughts?
I think they did a very good rework on him. They didn't change him much. Some solid changes are making him very consistent. His do move is really darn good. The 100% chance to gain the 75% turn meter up is huge. You open with it, and then you usually go next. And then you just use his basic to kill someone, or if there's a guaranteed kill, you use his 3 to reset it, and then you just do it over and over again. And I agree with both Lut and Kage on what could have been for the leader skill. So, but overall, he's a solid A.
Yeah, I like him a lot more than I thought. I didn't think I was going to like him at all. Surprised at how much I like him. Granted, I'll probably never use him outside of the siege, except in rare evasion comp, potentially. But I do. If you like, if you're Biff and like running evasion teams, we are quickly getting a slew of characters that are just completely destroy evasion teams.
Well, you don't like him that much because of Starfire, so
Yeah, well, I mean, Starfire is just a AoE version of him, so I just don't feel I don't feel like I need him. But he's good. Now let's take a short break. We'll be right back after these messages.
Become a Patreon today and get special perks like Patreon-only episodes, early reviews, and content based on your requests. Just go to patreon.com/WROL broadcast. And now back to the show.
Alright, moving on to Jessica Cruz, and we'll start with you, Kage, since that is your bae.
I'm pretty conflicted between B and A with her because the Starfire rework kind of put her over the top. That AoE is just kind of whack because it's not really doing any damage, even with the bug fixes and everything. I'm just not feeling it. But to be fair, she doesn't buff the same way Starfire does. Starfire gets like 1,000,000 int-ups just for breathing. Jessica Cruz is more of a support character where she cleanses her team, gives shields, and she's actually, I'll use her with Zod to like put the int downs on Ultraman, and then Zod will just one-shot Ultraman that way. She can use her int downs to like slow down Darkseid, slow down Zod, slow down Eradicator, so she can do a lot of things to special damage characters. The only fix I would add to her is if they want to lead in that direction, just put strength downs on her basic as well. But overall, mostly solid kit. I'd say A minus B plus kind of kit with her.
What about you, M4? Did M4 have to leave?
I bet Hate's trying to say something, but he's muted.
Oh. I don't know how I got muted. M4, I was calling on you next.
Yes, I was also on the fence, but the double hit on her basic int downs is just too good to pass up, and also she can be annoying if you're unprepared when you kill someone, and then she does her buff move, taunt, and has that immunity, and it can lead to problems. So those two moves alone, I don't want to move her down. And then if you use her with, like, let's say a Darkseid, she would be crazy good. She may have lost a little bit of her luster, but I think she's still kind of in the A tier, maybe in the lower A, but she's still A tier in my book.
All right, and Loot.
What did I vote her as? I vote her as an A. I'm just going to ignore that AoE move that she does because it's kind of irrelevant. Her strengths, and the reason why I like her as an A, is the shield move, which also purges and puts a taunt on herself, and her basic for the int down, basically shut a character down. So I think those two moves alone puts her in the A category.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing at first. I wasn't sure if I would vote A or B. I was on the fence like Kage. This siege kind of reminded me how good she can be with her basic. Her 3 sucks. You don't really need it. I mean, it can be used for cleanup, but really her 2 and her 1 are why you bring her. And she's pretty solid. Good character. She does pair pretty well with Starfire as well because int ups, int downs, destroy everything. Alright, so we will move on to Mera. And Loot, you were the only... Oh no, not me. Sorry. Yeah. Hold on. I think I gave her a B. Oh, I was the only one to give her a B, so I'll go ahead and go first. I actually think she's a little better than I originally thought. I mean, granted, it might be because the siege was very green heavy, and she was one of the only blues you could use, but I felt like that damage immunity and the call assist on her basic makes her she's a low B, I think. Maybe close to a C. I see everybody else voted C, but I don't know. I kind of was a little impressed with her. I think with a rework again, she could be a really solid character. We're so overdue for Atlantis month. But M4, if you want to start.
Sure. You can tell that she's really bad when she's the lone blue, and I'd rather use 3 greens in Blackflash. Her call assist on the basic is good if they're 10 meds, but you'll never get to a second turn to get the 10 meds. You just don't get there. By the time she gets the second turn, it's either everyone's dead or dying, or it's just over. And then this also shows you how irrelevant ments are, because look on the enemy side. So even let's say on defense, I'm not even afraid to use the AOE. They'll get ments, but I know for sure they're not going to benefit from it. They're never going to get a turn. So that damage immunity move sounds cool on paper. You don't need it. The only thing that might be okay for her is the heal immunity move. It's just that she's so slow and you don't really need it in the siege. Passive doesn't work. So yeah, I don't think she's relevant in this game right now, even outside of siege. Too slow to do her thing. So just solidifies my belief that she's a C.
What about you, Kage?
Same with M4. I would rather use 3 greens than use Mera. I think with a couple of fixes, she could go a very long way. Like, if someone hits her team with an AoE, she can do a light heal plus give turn meter on top of the mends. That'll get her going. And then you can also do you can actually just do a little bit more for the passives, with the turn meter, and set up maybe affinity up, maybe give her like crit immunity. So there's a couple things you could do with that. Her kit that could make her pretty good, but for now she's just very underwhelming. So we'll see.
Luke, any other thoughts?
No, I have no other thoughts. I agree with everybody.
All right, next up is Steel, and I will say that I see Sheriff Lobo voted C. I know some people and L's, I think they said they'd vote C. I really think he's a strong B, not just even a V. I think he's a great character. That AoE debuff immunity that's not gated by anything is such a strong move. This siege you don't need it as much because Zod is a little faster, or not Zod, Ultraman's a little faster and he gets to use it. But if you didn't have Ultraman on the team, Steel does that with a great job. He's got the turn 0 stun. He's got the stun on his 3 that does okay damage, but his biggest thing is he gains shields like crazy. And he's one of those characters I really, really think at RB5 would be such a pain in the butt, because he would gain so many shields. He can take such a hit. I really like him. When he comes back around in 6 months, assuming there isn't somebody much more important, he's probably going to join my RB5 list of greens out the wazoo. Anybody have any other thoughts on him before we move on?
You're lucky.
Yeah, I have one.
Oh,
I've got
go
one
ahead.
thought.
You go first.
Yeah, so I didn't gear him, so I'm going to use my 30 seconds to plug Baby Dogecoin. Hope everybody goes out there and gets some Baby Doge cryptocurrency. It's an up-and-coming crypto with the goal to save dogs. If you're a dog lover, get some Baby Dogecoin, because we're doing donations. It's a charity coin. It's not a poop coin. So I'm really into it. I love the founder, the developers, real, no rug pull. Let's go, baby Doge.
To the moon!
To the moon!
And there's a slim chance you could become rich off it. This is not financial advice.
Okay. Back to DCL. So, hate mail, I think you're fortunate that most of us made Steel slow gear, because I think you're going to see a slew of Cs. But now you have a chance to override everyone because our opinions don't count. Since we don't have him gear, then you can put him as a B, which I see that you already did.
It was a tiebreaker between me and Sheriff.
You know what? You might as well just go S tier. You can do anything you want. You're the sole voter.
Although I will give you this. When I see him, I kind of have to account for that 50-50 stun at the beginning. So that gives him a little bit of reason to use.
I think
But
you might be surprised at how much you like him when you use him. He's a
Maybe.
utility toon. He's not a damage dealer.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But I have conflicting reports on how tanky he is, and also he's pretty darn slow.
Yeah.
And with his main defense is, I think, shields. He gets some crit immunity somewhere down the road, right? But it's kind of slow to get there. So he's going to rely on his retaliation to get shields.
But remember,
and then
he's
go
not a
from-
turn 0 taunter, so
He
you
is-
you
he's
use the
not.
other taunter, gain your crit immunity, and then he's taunting.
There's just so many tunes that hits under the shields. So I don't know. I'm not sold on this kit, but I could be wrong. When I gear him in about 4 months.
All right, let's move to Ultraman, and Loot, we'll let you start since you're our resident RB5.
They fixed something. They fixed a lot of things in his kit. And minor changes too. I think my favorite thing that he does, and it's no different than his original kit, is the AoE buff immunity. They definitely increased his special damage. Like, they really tuned that thing significantly higher. Because that AoE is like, holy smokes. You could take down I guess you could take down a blue that's not like tanky, even with that AoE at RB5.
Wow.
So it's really strong. His transfer is fantastic. That transferring all of his debuffs to someone else is awesome. So he can get, let's say he's taunting, and Blackflash puts the Doom on him. You just give it right back. Somebody puts bleeds on him, give it right back. It's really great. And him attacking out of turn is really great. His basic also hits pretty hard. And then the best thing that they did, although I think if he's not RB3 or up, might not be the best thing that they did, it's a turn 0 taunt. So at RB5, it doesn't matter who's attacking him. He's not going down that turn 1. I've taken a double hit from OC3's RB5 Dark Side. Okay? Double hit. He doesn't die. I've been attacked to where he couldn't even move significant amount of times. And I had videos that I was showing him for, and we were just like, oh my God, he didn't die? How is that not possible? So he's defying how much damage somebody can take. So he's super tanky, deals really great damage. The transfers are cool. The buff move is great. I love him. He's definitely not an S tier toon. They would have to have given him death immunity, damage immunity, or crit immunity on his taunt. and then I believe he would be S tier. Other than that, he's a solid A.
Yeah, he seems like he's definitely improved a lot. Even Darkseid can't one shot him with his basic, which I don't think any other green can really stand up to. So, Kage, your thoughts?
He's great. They fixed his issues. Much tankier now. Does more damage. Got nothing else to add other than solid A tier character. I will note that the AoE buff immunity. I wish it wasn't contingent on like alive enemies. It was just like a flat percentage, like guaranteed.
That's what we have steel for. M4.
Nah.
This rework is... I don't know what they did outside of the turn 0, but turn 0 taunt, I can't even remember how different the other skills are, but overall those tiny tweaks make him so much better. And yeah, I don't have anything more to add other than those guys said, but just he's an amazing tank right now.
Yeah, I would say this month was a solid month for both reworks. Went from C's to A's, and both new toons. Even though Steel's probably the lesser of the bunch, she's still a fun character. So there was no duds this month at all.
Right, and the insane
I'm
part
looking forward
is...
to... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna finish my thought on the reworks. It's just they don't have to do an overhaul on the toons to make them good. Look at Zod and Ultraman.
Yeah.
Both slight tweaks. They're still the same at the core, but they're so much better.
Next
I
up.
was
Oh,
gonna
Kage.
add in,
Sorry, Kage.
I can't wait for next month's reworks because I think I've got a feeling they're going to be pretty solid.
All right, next up we have Stargirl, which...
Trash.
I'll let you go first, Kake, since you have the least
she's
positive.
Mega doo-doo, like, damage sucks. Her basic doesn't really do much. It's just, ooh, 2 strength downs. Ooh, 2 strength downs. Like, ooh, okay. I got Arsenal for that, and Arsenal's kind of trash, too. So, the only redeeming factor she's got is the team cleanse. But, like, what are you going to do with that team cleanse? I've got a shielder on. I've got, someone else who can do your role better in the form of Jessica Cruz. So Stargirl's not seen any play. So GG's, get out of here.
Yeah, I almost voted trash myself. She's just so squishy. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Arsenal almost felt safer to bring in matches. I brought her once against a Wonder Girl team thinking it would help. She died instantly. So, yeah, I voted C, but because she's slightly usable. Loot, what did you think?
I voted C also, surprisingly. And I'll tell you why. There's one thing that makes her not complete trash. It's the buff move, which just being able to give the shields, and she's not like having trouble. Yeah, finding this word, I had trouble. She's not squishy. That's squishy. That's the word I was looking for.
I think she's the squishiest green in the game.
No, I really don't. I think she's not quite as squishy as you think she is. I have used her a select few times in Siege, and the reason I brought her was I think I was going up against a Wonder Girl, maybe, I don't know, or a Cheetah, and flipping those strength ups to downs. It's gimmicky, but it actually worked. And the buff move, where she gives the shields and the crit immunity, was very helpful. That's why I'm not throwing her into the landfill.
M4?
Yeah, same with Loot. She's not completely useless. There's that time when you could pull her out and make it work. It's just you're like walking on eggshells to have a specific path, because if you stray from it, someone sneezes on her, she dies. But if you happen to land those strength downs, you can even control a Wonder Girl. So not complete trash, but so close to it.
And we did want to add a whole bunch of A tiers that we wanted to revisit, that because there's a lot of A tiers that probably shouldn't be A anymore. We don't have enough time for a bunch of them, but we will talk about one that keeps coming up in chats, and that is Alan Scott. We had him as an A. I agree that he should definitely be bumped down to a B tier. Early on, he was very strong and you were scared of him. Now, he's just, I mean, he's still, I like him as a toon. Still a very good toon, but he's so power crept. M4 if you want to.
Yes. So one of his best moves is his almost guaranteed crit on the basic if he's shielded. But there's so many ways now to get around that. Either people have crit immunity, some toons even have them built in, and awareness, and he's also slow. And then the other thing is he's blue, and the strength down moves hardly affects the better half of the good greens, because they're mostly special damage, so it doesn't really, have a lot of utility these days. So he's still good if you have a problem green to deal with, but if you're just going by his basic, might as well just bring Darkseid. I think Darkseid is one of the main reasons why you don't need him as much, because Darkseid does kill on basic much more consistently.
Yeah, I agree. Kage, any thoughts on him?
I think high rebirth Alan Scott's still respectable. He still does pretty good damage, and he makes the team beefy with the agility ups plus the shields. But there's just so many shielding toons now, like Artemis that gives free shields. There's other characters that don't come to mind, but we got plenty. So I mean, Alan Scott, I have to bump him down a bit.
Any closing thoughts, Luke?
No, I'm just going to say B, and you guys already said the rest.
All right, well that wraps up the tier list. Don't know when you'll be hearing this, but hope everyone has a good siege. Until next time, we will talk to you next month. As soon as I can find
See you later.
All right, see you.
For anyone still learning how to be an adult, if cheese has mold on it, you should throw it out. You can also become an adult by becoming a Patreon. Become a Patreon today and get special perks like Patreon-only episodes, early reviews, and content based on your requests. Just go to patreon.com/WROL broadcast.